Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the labs. So, in this lab, I'll be focusing on deployment slots plus auto scaling and backup as well. The main thing for this that you need to know is you need an app service standard of S1 or higher for slots, auto scale, and backups. So, as we're going to get started, we're going to first create a resource group. So, we're going to go over to resource groups, and we're going to go to create. Now for this name, we're going to put resource group app service SVC slots and lab. We're going to just stick with US Central right now. Keep it the way it is. We're going to leave everything else default. We're going to go over to view and create, and we're going to create. So if we refresh this, app service, and the slots is right here. So now what we're going to do, we go in here, and we're going to create. And what you can create inside of a resource group is resources. So now we're going to search app. Let's see, app service plan. All right, we're going to search up app service plan right here, and app service plan represents a set of features and capacity that you can share across multiple apps and app service. All right, so we're going to create that, and we're going to keep everything the same up here. And for the name of it, we're going to give it ASP slots lab S1. We're going to stick with Linux right now. And for the region, we're going to stick with just whatever they give us for the time being. Now for this, you want to make sure you switch it to standard S1. So let's see. Well, we don't have standard S1 on here, so we will have to work with basic B1. And it only works if you have anything above free. You just remember that. So we're going to go to basic. Alrighty. So we're going to hit review and create now. And we want to make sure this is within the same region as the resource I just created. So if we want to, we can just go to Azure again. Oh, not Amazon. Sorry about that. Just to double check, make sure we're on the same page here. Central US, Canada Central. All right, we have to go back and change this. Central US. Okay, there we go. That was almost a close one right there, but that's why we always have to double check, triple check. All right, so now we're going to go to create. So now, when this is loading, we're going to next. As you can see, it says deployment succeeded. We're going to go to resource. Alrighty, so this is up and running now. So now we're going to create a resource, and that resource is going to be a web app. So create, oh, excuse me, web app. Create, there we go. We're going to create a web app. And from here, we're going to make sure the resource group is within the one we just created, which is RG slots one. And then the name is going to be web slots. And we'll give it a unique name. Let's see what's unique off the top of my head. Let's say February, just because it's February for the moment. Alrighty. So for the publish, we're going to put code. For runtime Slack, we're going to pick Python 3.12. And then the region, we're going to stick to what we have been using, which is Central US. Then for the pricing plan, yep, we're going to stick with this, the one that we just created. Now we're going to go to review and create, leave everything as default. And now we're going to create it. So now, just in case I've been going fast, I created a web app. Excuse me, and I created an app service plan. And the app service plan is a fully managed web app hosting platform. So basically, I design and build the app, and Azure maintains the infrastructure. All right, just waiting for this to load. So this is loaded. Now we're going to go to the resource, and we're going to create a deployment slot. So we're going to look over here, and we see deployment slots. Deployment slots are under deployment, which is right here. So the main thing with deployment slots that you have to realize, oh no, let's see, standard S1, we'll upgrade this. Alrighty. So okay, so like I said, you needed a standard S1, and they reminded me right there. But the main thing with deployment slots is you can have multiple deployment slots, and deployment slots are great because they, one, have minimum downtime, or if any downtime, and two, you can have multiple. So one could be your testing slot, and one could be your actual slot. So any code that you potentially want to run, you could run in the testing slot first to see how it reacts, and if everything goes right, you can transfer over to the deployment slot where your actual web app and stuff is. And you see it says right here, deployment slots are live apps with their own host names. App content and configuration elements can be swapped between the two deployments. So we're going to click add slot. And for the name, we're going to put staging. Then clone settings. We're going to just put do not clone settings, and we're going to click add. Once this is loaded in, we're going to just click it. We're going to go to the overview. We're going to click the URL to verify that it loads. So basically, we want to make sure that it's up and running. Let's see. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click this. Just cancel out of this one really fast. This should take about a couple seconds, so while it's loading, I'll come back to it in about 30-45 seconds. Let's see. But as you play around with it, you see you have properties, you have monitoring, how often is it accessed and stuff, what's going on, logs, capabilities, notification recommendations. And it's nice to get familiar with a lot of the stuff that's on the left here, because you need to know where stuff is. So just in case you need to add a logs, custom domains, instances, you know where to go. Okay, I'm just trying to be patient before I move on. I think that we're gonna just come back. We're gonna wait, let that load, and when it loads, I'll show you guys. But we're gonna move to the next step right now. So now we're gonna go to the staging slot. Let's see. So if we go back to the home dashboard, go to resource groups. And then here, gonna go back here, and we're looking for, let's see, we're gonna go back to the web apps actually, where we were just at. Web, easier way, it's just over here. Okay, we go to web apps over here, and then we're gonna go to deployment slots, and we're gonna create another one. We're gonna add, we're gonna create two slot. We'll just say it. We just call it like this for the time being. Well, DP. All right, so we added two. Now, as you can see here, the one that we just created, the web slots February. Oh, I spelled that a little wrong, but staging. It's currently, it says your web app is running and waiting for your content. So all it is that deployment slide is running. And we could use that for potential testing. And the one that I just created right now, which is this one right here, I can, let's just say, use that for another thing. So it depends on like what do you want to use it for. So now we're gonna hit the swap button and the source. So as you can see here, it says February slots, web slots February staging. Sorry about that. And then the target will be web slots February, which is up here. Well, the production site. And what that essentially is doing is, as I just stated, anything that I put in there, if I want to put it to the production environment after testing it, I can definitely transfer it right into there. And it's, I feel like honestly this is a great feature of Azure, whatever you want to call it, because of the fact of you can test out your code as if you were like on, like, let's just say a regular console like Linux, or you were just in like an on-prem. And this is one great feature that is you must have for all websites, or not websites, but all infrastructures online. So I would begin to just start the swap right there, and anything in there will go into the production. I'm currently waiting for this to load. And while we're waiting for this to load, we'll see at the top right corner when the notification pop up saying it has been completed. But for right now, we're going to configure auto scaling now. So we're going to go back to the app service plan. This is the app service plan. So you can see right here, you have app service plan, app service, and app service slot. So just to give you guys a little overview, the app service plan, the best way to think about it is a computer power package. So basically the CPU, the RAM, and the services. You control the speed, the power, the features, and last but not least, the limits. You pay for the app service plan rather than just paying for per app. That's something to keep in mind of when you're deploying and configuring an app service plan. So we're going to go to the app service plan right here. And from there, we're going to go to scale out. So just to give you guys a little insight on what scale up and scale up is, let's just say you set a budget notification when you, or threshold, when you meet, let's just say a certain number of CPU instances, let's say you reach 80 CPU percent for 15 minutes, it's going to scale up, meaning add more CPU or RAM or whatever you need. Whereas scaling out, if you reach a certain number, like a metric, it's going to add another VM instance or whatever instance you need. Alrighty, so we choose scale out, and we see what it's currently saying in terms of the plan and stuff. And now you have the scale out method. You can choose manual or rule based. For right now, we're going to do manual. And for the minimum, we want to see. Yep, so for the minimum, we're going to do 2 for the time being. And then we're going to save that. Alrighty. Excuse me with that. Let's see. And if you wanted to, you can do automatic. Automatic is it will scale out or scale in or scale up, whatever you want to do. So you just switch it, press select, and then it will basically do the minimum for you in terms of scaling up and out. So last but not least, now we're going to configure app service backup. So we're going to go home. We're going to look up storage accounts. And we're going to hit create. So for the storage account, the resource group, we're going to make sure it's going to the app service slots. Storage account name, we'll put slots central 1. For the region, we're going to put Central US because that's what we have been using. For redundancy, we'll just change it to local. And then we're going to go to review and create. Oh, well, I have to actually choose a storage type. I'll put Zora files for the time being. Review and create. And we're going to create this. So basically what that is let's just say if I would love to back something up, it will go to the storage account and you need to configure, let's just say a storage account for the web app that you're currently using. All right, so once this creates, we're going to create a container inside. All right, there we go. So now we're going to create a container inside of this storage account. So if we go to data storage and containers, we're going to add a container, and the container is going to be app service backups. And the level is private. So basically only people who have that key or whatever, let's say configurations you set up in terms of how can someone access a container can only access. Usually you want to leave it private just so people won't be able to access it from a public space, and for security reasons as well. Like you don't want your information out there. And we're going to hit create. All right, now this is created. We're going to go back to our web app. Over here. Click here. So over here, now we're going to go to the settings, as which we click down right here, and we're going to click backups. that, we're going to click configure custom backups. And then now we can see the backup is being stored for our storage account, and then the container is where we want it. The container. Yep. So now you can also set a schedule. So the schedule is essentially like how often do you want to back up your data, let's just say. You have the option of repeating every day or every hour, once a day, or you have the hours tab, and you can do a start time, time zone, end time. Excuse me. And you can also have the retention, keep your backup files for up to 60 days, or it's a zero to keep them infinitely. Yep. And basically, you have that choice to configure your backups in terms of how often, how long do you want to keep it. So that's also a great thing. So we'll just say repeat every 5 days, not that frequently, and keep it for 60. And we're going to configure the backup. So as you can see, it says update backup is successful. Now, as we're wrapping up, the purpose of this lab today was to show you guys deployment slots, auto-scaling, and backup. Remember, you need a standard tier to be able to do the deployment slots, and as well as make sure when you backing up your data, make sure that you configure what settings you want. So depending on the organization you're in or what infrastructure you're using at the time, what they need in terms of how often they need to back up data. So that's something you always have to make sure you check. And last but not least, auto scaling. Make sure you know, okay, if something is exceeding the threshold that we're currently doing, we need to scale up or scale out depending on the scope. And thank you all, and until next time, see you guys later.